Hey guys, and welcome back to Fringe Friday. I'm Carmen, and today we are delving straight into season 4, episode 18 of Fringe. So, last time on Fringe, we had a World A Lincoln centric episode. He's sort of been struggling to find his place in the world and with the team for a little bit now, ever since Peter got back, really, and Olivia started to remember who she is and who he is and their connection. So he decided to go to World B to sort of try to find his place, and in doing so, it seems discovered that his place might be in World B with Olivia and that whole team over there. Of course, in the quest to find World A Lincoln, or his place, we lost World B Lincoln, which is just a shame because I've really liked him the entire time that we've had him, both iterations of him. So yeah, he will be missed, but I am interested to see where they're gonna go with World A Lincoln and all of the stuff going on over there, because they're honing in on the shapeshifters, which puts Broyles in sort of the danger zone, regardless of whether or not he is a shapeshifter. I feel like them, what's the word I'm looking for? Honing in on them is going to really sort of put him in jeopardy. So we're going to see how that goes. Maybe we'll figure out what the heck David Robert Jones is up to. Who knows? Maybe we will find out, why Olivia has to die, what the Observer was talking about, all of that stuff. I don't know, but I'm very interested to find out. So let's just watch this episode and see what insights it might give us and what questions it might pose for us. Oh no, is it his funeral? You guys, really? We're gonna start off this way? I'm not ready to cry today.
I don't like funerals.
Yeah, most people don't, hun.
I never know what I'm supposed to say.
To be fair, nobody does. There's not really anything you can say. I'm sorry is sort of the traditional thing.
There's nothing you can say.
Yeah. Is that his parents? Broyles, you feeling some guilt? You should be.
We are going to do everything that we can to find who's responsible and bring them to justice. I give you my word.
Broyles?
I believe that David Robert Jones has a mole in the Department of Defense. Someone tipped him off about the location of a prisoner transport, which allowed his men to ambush my team and kill my partner. Who tipped off Jones?
Will Nina? I don't know. She's just giving it back, so she's...
Well, you needn't worry about me, Agent Dunham. You see, I'm not going to be here very long. It's your world you ought to be concerned about. Because as bad as you think things are now,
They're going to get worse.
things are going to get much worse.
Much worse. What is his plan?
Can anyone here tell me what we are in the business of doing?
Making money.
We are in the business of making money.
Oh, I was right. I was just...
Mr. Delman,
Yes, Mr. Bauer.
can you explain to me why Hamilton and I had to cancel our flight to Baltimore this morning?
I don't know why.
You're free. What do we do? I can't move!
What in the actual fuck? Did Jones do that somehow by using his counterpart in World B? 'Cause, that was fucked up. He, flickered in and out, right? You guys saw that.
I called your house last night, Peter. You didn't answer.
Because I was out.
With Agent Dunham, I presume, making up for lost time.
You want to let us know what we're in for?
Walter's so cute. I adore him.
They died on impact.
Multiple people, did they say?
I'm seeing similar injuries over here.
Okay, yeah.
The wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all unrighteous men.
I don't think it's God.
One could argue that God kills us all, though typically not in such a direct manner.
I mean, not incorrect.
He was yelling, and I thought for sure he was going to fire me.
Yeah, I think he was.
Could you check the other victim's abdomen for abrasions, dear?
What do you think could have caused that?
I'm not sure yet.
No, I don't know either.
A seatbelt. Look at the way the laceration extends across the waist.
Like a car crash?
We have a third victim. His injuries and time of death are consistent with the men here, and he was a pilot.
Yes, yes.
A plane crash?
These men's wounds are consistent with a plane crash. That's brilliant, dear.
Well, how could these people have been in a plane crash if neither of them was in a plane?
Maybe it's the bleed over. Because Peter. Maybe they were in a different plane crash. Or in World B, yeah. There's something weird going on here. Because they also flickered.
There was a plane crash.
When did it happen?
Approximately 90 minutes ago, just after takeoff.
Yeah.
2 men and the pilot.
So it was.
I've narrowed it down to 108 names. Everyone who had operational clearance and would have known about the prisoner transport.
Talking about investigating our own people.
Yep.
Jones has been a step ahead of us the whole way. He knew we were coming and he moved his entire shapeshifter operation. When we were tracking him, he knew what frequency we were on.
Look a little lower, hun. Like right in front of your face.
But this level of surveillance comes with a lot of red tape. I'll cut through it.
I'm assuming he's not on her little list.
But I want you to report to the bridge and pick up members from the other Fringe division. We'll be investigating this together.
This is gonna be fun. It's gotta be David Robert Jones, right? He has to have something to do with it.
Walter, are you sure that you don't want me to go with you?
I'm sure, dear.
Oh, he's going by himself?
And thank you for trusting me. It's a really big step for me.
It is, but I don't know if I trust other people. You know?
Do you think that someone could have caused this?
David Robert Jones, for example.
Anything's possible, even Santa Claus.
You don't think Jones had something to do with this, do you?
If Jones caused this,
It's only the beginning.
he's conceived of something, Belly, and I never did.
Mm-hmm. Which, you know, he might have, because, you know, evil.
What are you looking for?
Not looking, listening. You hear that? It's a perfect G.
Okay.
You can bring over a casserole, but a severed hand is okay?
That's a G. That's incorrect. It should be a C. You see, each universe
Vibrates on its own frequency. Yeah.
from this universe will vibrate at a G, and everything from our universe at a C.
Okay.
Somehow the victims on our side were made to vibrate at the frequency of this universe.
How?
Stands to reason that somehow the events were linked.
Yeah. But how? And why?
Whatever merged the frequencies of the two universes destabilized the aircraft.
Okay.
Whoever's responsible must have attached some sort of device to the craft.
Okay.
Well, what if you're right? I mean, why? It doesn't feel like an assassination, so what? Is it a threat? I mean, what are they trying to prove?
Maybe it's just a test to see what they can do. And if it's, like, successful, then they can move on to, like, phase B of whatever the fuck it is.
Matcha is one of the few things I'm going to miss.
Matcha? I mean, I like matcha too, but not as much as just, like,
How did
black
our
tea.
experiment with the plane go?
Experiment. Yeah.
Do you have a preference for this next one?
Surprise me.
So he is testing something, but to what end?
How's Chris?
He's good. Can't stop talking about some girl in his class. If only I could get him to pay half as much attention to his homework as he does to those girls. He's in the living room. We've been entertaining your friend.
Is it David Robert Jones?
Looks like. Hey, Dad.
Yep.
I'm just catching up with Christopher here. It's a pleasure to finally meet him.
Oh, he for sure has a threat over him. That's a clear message.
But I wanted to bring this to you, personally.
What is it? Money?
Christopher's responding extraordinarily well to treatment. It's hard to imagine that a few months ago he was in constant pain.
Okay.
That he was dying.
So that's what it was. That's what he has over him. Makes sense. Because in the other version, Olivia helped save him, right?
Notice the way your wife looks at him. It's as if she's witnessing a miracle. But there aren't miracles. That's what you're here to remind me, am I right?
He's here for definitely to, like, remind you of the threat.
Someday I'll have to account for what I've done, but can't lose your boy.
How like Walter he is. Broyles, I mean, with his son.
I will be calling on you very shortly.
So he's literally just there to be like, I saved your son's life. I can take your son's life away. We understand each other sort of situation. Okay, it makes sense that now we know that it was a threat. Okay.
Right here is fine.
So he's leaving that. What is that gonna do? Is that like whatever the frequency machine is?
What's that?
Did you find everything you were looking for?
Nope, something weird's gonna happen. What the fuck was that? Did they go into the water? Looks like it.
It's nice to see you again. Yes, I brought you something.
Did she?
Oh, no, it's okay. I got permission.
Coffee. That's really nice.
I never thought that I was going to taste this again.
That makes me...
Can you ask Walter what it is I'm looking for? What this device might look like?
Oh, it's in the backseat.
Walter says the device could be rather large.
Or it might be small.
Actually, I don't think he has any idea what it looks like.
He doesn't. It's a briefcase. It's in the back seat. Look. You'll find it. Yeah. Look under the seat.
I got something.
Maybe it's not under the seat. No, it isn't. I'm not. Okay, I'm like gonna say, don't touch that with your bare hands.
What is it?
A device.
Amphilicite.
Ah, what he was stealing.
Jones.
Dr. Bishop, do you have any idea what Jones is trying to do?
He's done it twice, originating once in each universe.
He's testing it.
He must have a reason.
Of course he has a reason. Problem is, I don't know what it is.
Maybe don't lash out, hun.
Sorry.
It's been a long day. Maybe after a good night's sleep.
Although the pillow I was given last night left me with a terrible crick. This universe hasn't discovered memory foam.
Yo, Walter, you can stay at my place tonight if you like. I got a spare room.
And I shall refrain from sleeping naked.
Well, that is good to know.
I thought she was gonna say, and I will appreciate that. Thank you.
I wanted to apologize for snapping at you. It's not you I'm angry with. None of what Jones is doing would be possible without the right conditions. I created those conditions by crossing over all those years ago. Had I not done that, we wouldn't be in this situation now.
He understands you did it for your son,
Dr. Bishop,
to be fair.
may I ask you something? If you had to do it all over again, would you make the same choice?
To save Peter, probably.
If you had asked me that question a few months ago, the answer would have been no. But now that I have met my adult son, got to know him, I don't know that I'd do anything differently.
Love is a powerful thing. Royals can relate.
You want to tell me what this is? No. All you need to know is what you're to do with it.
What is he to do with it?
Take it to Liberty Island, to what I believe you call the Bridge and affix it to the control panel on the machine.
No. No. Broyles,
You do realize that machine is healing our world.
yeah, you can't do this.
I do. Need I remind you who I am healing?
Could he not just kill him? Like, just shoot him, like, just right now. I mean, to be fair, he did heal from that one gunshot, but, like...
Any time before sundown tomorrow should be fine.
He's just one person, you know what I'm saying? Like, Sure, he is healing his son, but I feel like Walter could probably, like, give him that. He could, like, synthesize the same thing.
So, Stacy, this girl in my class, told Danny that she likes me. Dad, no one's ever liked me.
Oh, I'm sure that's not true. Broyles, you can't do whatever just that David Robert Jones wants you to do, though. Oh my god. He's wearing her robe. Oh, she's drinking.
That's everything that Lincoln had left. I am supposed to give it to his parents, and I just can't face them, not until I got something more to tell them, and I thought this would give me some courage, but all it's done is just make me feel a little bit sick.
Well, I have just the thing for that. Some people swear by a hair of the dog, but I prefer nature's sponge, the egg.
I'm missing something. I know I am. I mean, there is absolutely nothing linking any of the likely suspects to the crime.
And
What
perhaps
about
it's time
the
to give some thought.
unlikely
The
suspects?
dog did not bark.
Unlikely suspects.
The point is, no evidence is evidence in and of itself.
What if our mole is covering his tracks and someone with enough clearance to alter classified details?
How about Colonel Broyles?
Yep.
Broyles? No way.
You know him better than I do. But in the case of a mole, no one should be above suspicion.
He's actually 100% correct. Ooh, is she gonna test it out with Nina?
I just wanted to tell you in person that we found our mole.
Agent Broyles.
We have Colonel Broyles in custody. He told us everything. He won't be able to set you free anymore.
She's testing her reaction to it.
You really have no idea. Philip is irrelevant. He's just another pawn.
Proof.
This changes nothing, Agent Dunham.
Proof that she's right.
For all we know, Nina Sharp is lying.
Why would she lie to me, and what does she have to gain?
I've been asking around. No one has seen Colonel Broyles come in today. I checked, and his subcutaneous tracker was disabled 2 hours ago. Should we be worried?
Yes. Yes, you really fucking should be. You really should be. I wonder if he'll do it. To save his son. That'll show them that he was there, though. Yep. Yep. Astrid. Astrid, tell her.
Colonel Broyles' show me was just swiped at Liberty Island.
What's he doing there?
The bridge is there. The Secretary of Defense. He could be doing any number of things.
The bridge. The bridge. Worry about the bridge. Trying to destabilize the connection between the universes. Possibly. I mean, I don't know.
Done.
Did Colonel Broyles come through here?
Yeah, about 10 minutes ago. Hey, you haven't been cleared.
Are they gonna... 10 minutes is a long time. That thing is slow. Broyles, come on. Don't do it. 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 Broyles.
Got your message.
Maybe. Oh, maybe he's not gonna do it. Maybe he's not gonna do it.
Colonel Broyles just turned himself in.
Okay.
He told us everything.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
He's trying to save his son. I'm proud of him that he didn't do it. But I wonder if David Robert Jones knew that he wouldn't. And that was part of the plan.
Don't judge him. No one can be certain exactly what they're capable of, how far they'll go to save the ones they love.
He's right.
I know this more than most.
I agree.
Keep an eye on this universe, will you? I've grown quite fond of it.
See, I'm surprised that you're not going back with him.
I'm not.
I'd help find the people who killed your partner. And mine.
And once you do that, you're probably still not going anywhere. I don't like to see Broyles like this. Is his son okay? Can we, like, bring his son to this world as, like, witness protection? I mean, it's probably not going to help because, like, you know, David Robert Jones can go to both, but still. Can we, like, let Broyles off because he was being coerced? No.
I know why he did it twice. Jones, I think I know what he's doing.
Okay.
What?
It was a test. He wanted to find a common denominator, a frequency that could link both universes.
Right, so that whatever he did over there, the same thing would happen over here. We already know that, Walter.
No. That was just a start.
What's he gonna do?
Had Colonel Broyles uploaded this device into the machine, it would make it possible for Jones to do something much worse.
What?
He could collapse both universes.
But why? But why would he want to do that? He would have to exist on one of them, would he not? Would that not be like a suicide mission? And also, why would he want Olivia to activate her powers? Does he think that she can somehow, like, take them to a whole nother universe? But to what end? Alright, so first off, if you heard some random noises during the episode, Calvin is playing a video game, like, right next door. So, sorry, because I could hear him a little bit over the headphones during the episode. I don't know if it translated to the camera or not, but if it did, that's what that was. This was a really good episode. I think we're sort of getting an idea of what David Robert Jones wants, at least if Walter is correct. Now, I don't really understand why that would be what he would want. And also, it doesn't explain why he wants to activate Olivia's powers. You know, so there are still questions up in the air about exactly what his full plan is. Now, the only thing I can assume is maybe if he's going to destroy these two worlds for whatever reason, he might want to activate Olivia's power in order for her to take them to, like, a completely different world. Now, like, what that goal could be or, like, why that would be his plan or anything, like, I don't know. I don't know. Don't ask me. But I don't understand, like, how his end goal could simply be to destroy both worlds, right? Like, it makes sense based off of, like, his actions, but also as, like, an end goal motivation. To me, it doesn't make sense because he has to occupy one of the worlds. So I feel like there just has to be more to it than that, or else I don't understand. But I definitely think that, you know, it's just a part of the plan and not all of the plan. So I'm just going to have to wait and see how it all plays out because I definitely think that there is more to it than that. I'm also really happy that we finally got an answer about if Broyles was a shapeshifter or if he was being threatened. And it turns out that he was being threatened, which was one of my two guesses. Yeah, it makes sense because in the other iteration of reality, Olivia helped to save Broyles' son, right? And so if that didn't happen exactly the same, then it makes sense that, you know, he would have not had somebody to help save him except for, in this iteration of the world, David Robert Jones, who, you know, used Broyles' weakness, his love for his son, and his desire for his son to get better and live a full, happy life, against Broyles. I hope that Broyles secured some sort of protection for his son and his wife before he turned himself in. I hope that was part of the plan. But I'm really glad that ultimately Broyles did turn himself in before destroying the bridge. You know, like, I'm glad that he chose to do that instead of, you know, destroying both worlds or helping Jones being a party to destroying both worlds, I guess. I do think that I really like the parallel they drew, between Broyles and Walter in this episode. The idea of, you know, how far would you go to save the people that you love? And like Broyles even asking Walter, which I felt was like his crisis of conscience right there, was like, if you could change the choices you made, like, would you have changed the choices you made? And Walter saying, you know, seeing my adult son, I might not. And I think that's valid, because I'm not saying that's the right choice, obviously, but I think that it's valid to, you know, be willing to do things that might not be great to save the people that you love. And I think that it was hard for Broyles to make that choice, and he really did regret it, and he felt guilty for it a lot. But I think probably, I mean, I'm not a parent, so I can't say, but like, I think that being a parent, and there would be almost nothing that you wouldn't do to try to protect and save your child. So as, you know, a person who loves other people in the world, I can understand that motivation for both Walter and for Broyles. So I don't really see Broyles any differently. In fact, I think that Broyles is exactly who I thought he was, because he tried to save his son, and when the ask was too great and the casualties started piling up, he sacrificed his own happiness and his own, you know, his own family kind of for what he thought was the greater good. And I think that's exactly who I thought Broyles was. So I really liked that. I liked that we got so much Broyles in this episode, because I love Broyles and he is such a great character. I think every iteration of him I have really, really loved so far. So it's good to get a Broyles-centric episode and to see that struggle with Broyles, and to finally get the answer about, you know, why he's working with David Robert Jones. I am interested in the fact that, or in whether or not David Robert Jones will just leave Nina in prison. Like, is she just a disposable pawn piece in this game that he's playing, or does he need her for a future, you know, thing? In which case, she's still disposable, just not yet. You know what I mean? So I'm curious if that's going to impact her relationship with David Robert Jones, and if Broyles getting taken in as well is going to just affect the plan. Because I can't help but feel that David Robert Jones had this contingency in place as well. You know, like, he knew that this was a possibility, and he probably has like a backup plan for, in the case of Agent Broyles, you know, morality wins out, like, what will I do next sort of situation. So nervous but interested to see what that will consist of, you know. I also think it's really cool how they had the idea that both universes, like, which they have, I think they've mentioned before in the past, that each universe sort of vibrates on its own frequency, which is why certain things like don't work in both universes. I like that they sort of further explored that idea by saying, like, if we could get these people to vibrate on the same frequency and cause this to happen, then, like, if we can, you know, recreate that and cause it to happen again, then we're sort of dealing with, like, it's not a fluke. Yeah. So the first experiment, like, it worked, but one experiment working in a vacuum, so to speak, like, doesn't mean that the experiment is actually successful. So I also like that, being a scientist, David Robert Jones would know that and would continue the experiment in other parameters. And if it works again, then it's obviously more than a fluke, you know? And so he's trying to like escalate the experiment. Although escalating the experiment from like, it happened to these 3 people, it happened to this like 1/2 people, you would think it would be like, okay, can I get it to happen to like a building full of people before he would be like, can I get it to happen to 2 entire planets or like worlds, right? So it's a mass escalation of the experiment. But I do appreciate that they sort of did test their hypothesis more than once. I don't appreciate it in the fact that they're like literally killing people for both universes to test their experiment. But I'm just saying, I like that they did it in a way that makes sense. So I was just thinking, sorry, when David Robert Jones was talking to that one guy and he was like, I'll miss this, and he's talking about matcha, he would have to be alive to miss it, right? So what is his plan? Like, what is his ultimate plan? Because he can't miss it if he's dead with the universes, right? So he has to have some sort of escape plan. And I just can't help but think that it has to have to do with Olivia. Because there's no reason for him to give her the Cortexiphan, for him to make her remember, for him to activate her powers, which have been dormant, unless it's going to benefit him. Because otherwise it would only serve him to never let her remember. Of course, he didn't count on Peter. Peter is, you know, an unknown, or like a spanner, right, in the works. He's this variable that Jones didn't initially account for, that knew him and sort of had all this information about him that David Robert Jones wasn't expecting. So that was interesting. But you would think that it would only behoove him to still let Olivia remain dormant unless he plans to use her powers to his advantage, right? Like that has to be included in his plan, or else it makes no sense that he would go so far out of his way to activate her. Does Olivia have the power to create worlds? That seems like it would be a bit OP, right? Like maybe there's just more universes than just these 2, right? Maybe there's another alternate universe that Olivia can take them to, but it's necessary for her to do it. Although it stands to reason if she could do it, then they could just open a door there. Then he wouldn't have to activate her in the first place. So again, I don't know. I definitely think that Olivia's power has to be a big part of his plan, though. Because again, it doesn't make sense otherwise. Sorry, this is just me thinking out loud, trying to figure out what David Robert Jones is up to. It's also fun to see if Olivia and Walter interact just in general. And I love that he submitted broils for like her to think about, because I do think that if you are in the situation that she was in, then you have to look at everybody, right? You can't just be like, no, I trust this person. I'm not going to look into them, because it's most likely going to be someone that you trust. Like Walter said, like you can't just look at the people who are obvious suspects. You have to look at the people who aren't obvious suspects, who you wouldn't think would do it, because it's most likely going to be that person. Like you have to look into Astrid even. You have to look into Broyles. You have to look into Lincoln. Like you would have to look into everybody, you know? It's just being, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Thorough, right? Like it's just being thorough. It's just turning over every single stone, because even if you think it's ridiculous to look at that person, maybe it is, but at least then you can eliminate them and then move on. Obviously they couldn't eliminate Broyles because, you know, he was he was literally the person they were looking for. But I just think it's interesting that, and again, it makes total sense because she trusted him, right? So she's not going to look into somebody that she trusts. But in that situation, you trusted everybody, didn't you? So you should still look into everybody. Sorry guys, I'm looking at my notes to see if there's anything else I need to say. I'm curious as to exactly what Nina meant when she said it was going to get much worse. Unless she meant, you know, the universe is colliding and destroying everything. But I still need to figure out like what the exact end goal for David Robert Jones is. I'm just not seeing it, you know? Like, I'm not trying, but I'm just not seeing it. It's got to do with Anphilicite too, right? So, because he got a bunch of Anphilicite, but we don't exactly know. Like, he was using it for those devices, but he has like a shit ton more. So he's gonna use it for something else too. It was sad to see Lincoln's parents at the funeral. It was sad to see Olivia drinking and sort of struggling with trying to find who killed Lincoln and bring them to justice with facing his parents, because she doesn't think that she can without giving them, you know, the killer. Anyway, I think that is all that I really have to say. Thank you guys, as always, so much for watching. If you want, you can watch the next episode right now over on Patreon, which will be linked in the description down below if you are watching this on YouTube. You can also watch my entire full-length reaction to this episode and every single episode thus far of Fringe. That will be over on Patreon as well. Yeah, I hope to see you guys next week for either 419 or 420. We'll see what people ended up voting for on Patreon. Yeah, I hope to see you there. Until then, bye guys!